Welcome to the Bizarre Phenomena channel. Click the link above if you prefer to continue in Hindi. Throughout the ages, whispers of magical, hidden beings have woven themselves into the fabric of our stories and beliefs. They are the elves and fairies, beings of enchantment, whose presence is felt in the rustling leaves, the shimmering moonlight, and the ancient tales passed down through generations. Elves and fairies have hundreds of names and descriptions, appearing in almost every folklore. Elf is a Germanic term, while fairy is derived from Old French. The desire to categorize these beings is recent, and interpretations vary widely. Folklorists and historians discuss the origins of elves and fairies in Germanic and Celtic mythologies, explaining their roles and significance in ancient cultures. A common factor in later mythologies from Christianized Celtic nations was the otherworld. This was the realm of the fairy folk and other supernatural beings, who would entice humans into their realm. As of 1991, there were between 30 and 40,000 identifiable fairy forts in Ireland's countryside, the oldest of them possibly dating back as early as 600 BCE. One of the largest rings ever found is near Belfort in northeastern France. Formed by Infundibulicibi geotropa, a type of mushroom species, it is thought to be about 300 meters in diameter and over 700 years old. On the South Downs in southern England, Calocybe gambosa, a mushroom species, has formed huge fairy rings that also appear to be several hundred years old. Fairies are often depicted as tiny, mischievous, winged beings, living in harmony with nature. They are playful, whimsical, and sometimes capricious. Elves, on the other hand, are portrayed as tall, elegant, and noble, with a deep connection to the natural world and a sense of wisdom. The portrayal of elves and fairies has evolved over time. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was an English writer and philologist. He was the author of the high fantasy works, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, redefined elves in modern literature, giving them a majestic and noble stature. Middle-earth is the setting of Tolkien's fantasy. Tolkien's imagined mythological past and most widely read works, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, are set entirely in Middle-earth. Middle-earth has also become a shorthand term for Tolkien's legendarium, his large body of fantasy writings, and for the entirety of his fictional world. Meanwhile, have been depicted in countless variations, from Tinkerbell's pixie-like charm to the ethereal beauty of Fae in fantasy novels. Do fairies and elves exist beyond the realm of stories? Some believe they do. These beings choose when and to whom they reveal themselves, often leaving behind tales of wonder and mystery. In a charming village settled between rolling hills and dense forests, a little girl named Clara lived with her mother. Clara had always been enchanted by stories of fairies and elves, often dreaming of meeting them. One warm summer evening, Clara was lying in bed, Her window opens to let in the cool night breeze. The moonlight bathed her room in a soft, silvery glow. As she drifted into a peaceful slumber, she heard a faint giggle. Opening her eyes, she saw tiny, sparkling figures flitting around her room. These were the Pansy Fairies, named for their delicate attire made of pansy petals. They were no bigger than Clara's dolls, with wings that shimmered like the morning dew. The fairies had come to play, believing Clara was asleep. But Clara was wide awake, her heart pounding with excitement.
Hello, Pansy Fairy, come near me.
Clara whispered. The fairies paused, their wings a blur of iridescent colors. One fairy, braver than the others, flew closer. You can see us? She asked, her voice like the tinkling of tiny bells. Clara nodded, her eyes wide with wonder. The fairies, seeing her kind smile, decided to trust her. They invited Clara to join their Midsummer's Eve celebration, a night of magic and merriment. All night, Clara danced with the fairies. They played with her dolls, sang enchanting songs, and shared stories of their woodland adventures. The room was filled with laughter and joy, a secret world known only to Clara. As dawn approached, the fairies prepared to leave with a final word.
Thank you, Clara, you made this night unforgettable. But remember, please ask your mother not to clip the pansies anymore. It hurts us.
Clara promised. The fairies fluttered away, leaving a trail of sparkling dust. When her mother came in the next morning, she found Clara's room in disarray, dolls strewn everywhere. "Clara, what happened here?" she asked. Clara smiled and said, "The fairies had a party. They asked you not to clip the pansies anymore." Her mother, seeing the sincerity in Clara's, agreed, and from that day forward, the pansies grew wild and free. Years later, Clara still plants pansies, hoping to see the fairies again. Every full moon, she sits by her window, waiting for a glimpse of her tiny friends, believing in the magic of that Midsummer's Eve. Whether they exist or imagination, elves and fairies continue to captivate us. They remind us of the magic that lies just beyond our perception, the hidden wonders of the world. Elves and fairies live on in the stories we tell, the dreams we dream, and the magic we find in the world around us. They are whispers of the hidden folk, forever enchanting our hearts and minds. Thank you for watching Elves and Fairies, a magical tale May you always find a bit of magic in your own life.